Welcome back to the content desk. Listen, I just want to know when countries like EU is not technically a country. They're a bureaucratic tyranny that sucks. But when they will finally learn that they're not going to beat Elon Musk off of stupid allegations and things. There's a headline here that says the EU privacy regulators are probing X/Grok for harmful AI image generation. Look, of course it's them. Like, Elon just keeps winning. It's one of the reasons I love him, by the way. Okay, Elon is like literally the most powerful human being. I mean, possibly the most powerful private individual citizen that has ever walked the earth, outside of obviously Jesus. But like, as far as like powerful and influential, like you have like the pharaohs of old and the president and all that, but that was like the power was given to them. Elon just insanity. So anyway, I think we should stop with the ridiculousness of it. It says that they're investigating it. I'm like, investigate everyone then, because I'm sure they all do it. And also, I use Grok image all the time. I've never seen harmful AI image generation. Funny, but not harmful. All right, with that, let's dive into today. Welcome back to the Content Desk, everybody. We're gonna dive into headlines and go over today's news. Remember, if you're new here, the Content Desk, our goal is to provide you with relevant news and information, opportunities and deals so that you can make more money as you watch. Here are today's top headlines. Number one, and Braden, feel free to chime in here if I've missed anything. Headline number one, Amazon, we got a good show today. Amazon is building a content marketplace for AI licensing, all right? Amazon is reportedly exploring a marketplace where publishers can license content directly to AI companies. Basically, a AWS-flavored marketplace exchange for AI content. Interestingly enough with this one, though, which I do think is interesting, is that Amazon is basically saying, like, you know what? We're not going to try to be a large language model. We're not going to try to be Grok or OpenAI or, Anthropic. We're just going to be the broker, right? We're going to build the pipes and the railings and the toll booths and the infrastructure that ultimately distributes this. So I thought that was interesting. Especially, by the way, if you do want, like, this economy of AI generated content is huge. It's becoming bigger and bigger every single day. Next is Agentio. Man, I should probably learn how to make sure that my pronunciation of things is right before we dive in. Agentio raises $40 million in a Series B, bringing their total to $56 million. The AI platform Agentio, they're a platform that matches brands directly with creators on YouTube and Meta. And they just landed another $40 million to make brand creator deals safer and bigger. Now, there's an interesting narrative with this, a kind of specific point I want to focus on, because they didn't just raise $40 million for growth. Think of Agentio as like kind of like a dating app almost. It's like you have these big companies, right, that want to partner with creators, because like creator-led advertising, brand deals, things of that nature they're oftentimes much more effective than traditional advertising, particularly in the content and the influential world, right? We know this, especially if you've been in the content or creator space. But they're focusing specifically on the enterprise grade systems for safety and compliance, because one of the big issues that these big companies were having was they wanted to deploy capital, and they would hire or pay for these creators that turned out to not end up meeting like safety compliance things, or, you know, they said some things that the companies didn't want. They didn't meet certain requirements. And so they were actually like out of compliance with what was legal. And so Agentio essentially raised $40 million, which they had raised 16 million to 56 million. A $40 million jump is a pretty significant jump. I think it kind of shows that, number one, the creator marketing, that's still a very fast growing industry, and still very, very relevant. But number two is that compliance already has been and is going to continue to become a much bigger deal, because I mean I'm in the Bitcoin world a lot. I'm very, very big into Bitcoin, which come on Fridays, by the way. We'll dive further into that. But basically, one of the big thing that has prevented capital from coming into the crypto and the Web3 world and Bitcoin world is lack of government clarity, right? We have the Clarity Act going on right now where they're trying to get passed, and they didn't know what was legal and what wasn't, what they were and weren't allowed to do. The more clarity you got around that, and the more, there was clear, like, this is legal, this is not, the faster that industry grew. I think the same thing is true here. You're seeing it with, the creator space. If you're a business owner that wants to use creators, I still think I don't know. I'm small. We're small. It's like, we don't care so much about compliance, but it's becoming a bigger and bigger issue. And eventually we will all have to care on that. So anyway, that was a big headline there. Particularly in the world of AI, they're vetting it, and it says that specifically enterprise grade systems. Why it matters. Manual compliance checks used to kill big campaigns. Now AI does it instantly, letting brands spend more confidently and creators land bigger checks without drama. I think another thing of that, before we move on, because I think this one is kind of relevant, you have the middle economy, or like the middleman, kind of being cut out more and more by AI. Right? So you have big brands and you have creators, and there used to be this whole economy in the middle, right? Of manual compliance check and creatives, being created, and writing and editing and producing and all the legalities of the in between. That's all being cut out by AI, and I think there'll be a bigger trend towards that with AI specifically, which is why, if you're a service provider, I'm in the service provider space. I think the online service provider industry is perhaps the most at risk for disruption of AI right now, more so than any other industry, maybe coding. All right, speaking of coding, headline number 3 is we have, I should put headlines up on the screen because we have fancy graphics now. Look at that, boom. Okay, headline number 3, this was a big one. OpenAI begins testing ads in ChatGPT. They rolled this out last week, February 9th. Braden, I thought this was interesting. If you watched, Braden is not a Super Bowl, like a football fan, but he's from the Seattle area. Braden, I don't even know, Braden, you're not even a part of Seattle. You're in Idaho. You're not even supposed to be a Seahawks fan. The Patriots were in the Super Bowl. I'm a huge Patriots fan. Braden was like, I'm rooting for the Seahawks just because they're the other team. And unfortunately, he won. But anyway, in the Super Bowl, Anthropic rolled out an ad. This was a big to-do. I'm not sure if you saw this or not. Basically beating up on OpenAI. Now, the original ad that they were going to run was way better. It was way more savage. But OpenAI, or in the Super Bowl ad, Anthropic basically came out and was like, hey, there's a time and place for ads, but AI conversation isn't one of them. Anthropic, Claude is Anthropic. They were saying, hey, we're not going to run ads. Now, they have a completely different model than ChatGPT. Now, the headline, though, OpenAI starts showcasing clearly labeled context-aware ads at the bottom of ChatGPT answers for free and low-cost users. This is the first time that an AI tool that powers so much content creator work has its own built-in advertising layer. Maybe we should have an entire episode dedicated to the opportunity of this, but essentially, ChatGPT launches, what was it? Braden, figure out the date. Like, find the date that ChatGPT launched. I will never forget the day, like when it first came out, because it was like 0 to 1 million users in 5 days. But basically, they've been funding ChatGPT and the business without, like, by giving stuff away for free. Their paid models have not covered the cost of it. So they have used what is, the typical online software giant model, which is that they get really, really big, and once they have a bunch of users, then they start selling advertising space. Now, as a premium user of pretty much every AI platform, which, by the way, if you're watching, I'm curious. If you're watching on a stream right now, whether it's live or on the replay, I'd love to know. Comment down in the section down below. Do you have a paid version of some form of AI, whether that's ChatGPT, whether that's Grok, whether that's Claude? Do you pay for some premium tier or not? I would be curious to know, because I would bet, Braden, that most of the listeners probably do have some form of paid tier. I have a paid tier of like all of them, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people have these free tiers, and so they're rolling out ads. Now, they're the first platform to do this. Here's where I think there's massive opportunity on this. And Braden, did you get the date?
Yeah, it's in the comments. It's November 30th, 2022.
November 30th of 2022. Dude, that's crazy. Has it really been that long? 2022. So that was what? Basically 3 years ago? 2020. Yeah, basically 3 years ago. So 3 years ago, ChatGPT came out. That's wild. I wonder what life was like before ChatGPT. Huh. That must have been interesting. Don't remember that time. Anyway, I think there's a massive opportunity here, though, if you're in the content economy. If you are a service provider and you are looking for a service that people will gladly pay for and pay lots of money for, that has potential to have crazy arbitrage, I think it is ChatGPT ads. Same thing if you are a business owner and you want potentially cheap targeted ads. I think ChatGPT ads provide that potential opportunity. I don't know yet. We haven't used them. But I remember back in, it's been a decade since I've been in the online space. But back in the day, like a decade ago, Facebook ads were all the buzz. And you could basically go, and they were cheap. You could run Facebook ads to like a webinar or Facebook ads to your product. And because the competition was low and the targeting was insane, that'll be interesting. That should be something. Braden, make a note of this. We should track the compliance regulations around AI targeting, because back in the day it was crazy. It was crazy. You could go, and I think at one point with Facebook ads, like you could target every any demographic that you wanted, like down to like age, income levels, college, whether they were college educated or not, zip codes. I think you could even, I don't know if you could ever target race, but it was like crazy, crazy detailed. And so you could run ads to these people in super targeted ways. Then Facebook ads got saturated, Meta got greedy. I think potentially with this, OpenAI rolling out ads from a consumer standpoint, super sucky. Just upgraded the paid plan if you don't want them. But from a business perspective, I think there's a huge opportunity that like if you're looking for money, that's where I'd put focus right now. Okay, those are the three headlines for bigger stuff, bigger companies, stuff that's a little less relevant to us. The next three are kind of where I really want to put the focus today. Substack raises $100 million in fresh funding. Patreon is aggressively poaching creators from Substack. And Apple is a big mean giant and is forcing, a big greedy giant, and is forcing billing mandates on Patreon and other subscription services. And we're going to talk about those things because the focus of today is I want to spend some time and we want to dive deep on the creator economy, the content economy, specifically in where the opportunity is with paid content. Okay, so I'm going to read through these headlines, but the pattern here is in a world where content is like being so disrupted by AI and brand is mattering so much, like we're seeing massive shifts, and almost all of those shifts have to do, like things are going in one of two directions. It's either going to behind a paywall or you're going to mass volume distribution. Okay, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's go through the headlines of these. First, paid content models and giants. Substack raises $100 million in fresh funding. Substack secured another $100 million round of funding. This was in July of last year. But it is looking to 10x growth, pushing the newsletter platform deeper into the heart of the professional creator monetization. This $100 million was their largest capital injection to date and came as the platform set an ambitious internal goal of 10x growth in paid subscriptions over the next few years. There was no public valuation tied to the $100 million, but the narrative from the company was pretty clear. Newsletters and paid subscriptions are now a real asset class, and Substack wants their own professional operator layer of the content economy by adding better growth features, sponsorship tools, and creator support. Okay, so content creators, solo creators, business owners, like let's say this. Imagine you are a financial services company, right? I have a friend who's in this space, all right? You want to build a following, build an audience. Your demographic is a higher tiered type of person. They make $300,000 to $500,000 take home. Maybe they're a business owner. They've got 3 to 5 million in disposable or in investable income or investable assets in cash. Like the way that you're going to market and build an audience around those people is going to be very, very different than if you're targeting the mass market, teenagers or anybody with a job, right? And in the content world, one of the ways that is becoming a hugely prevalent way to do that is by having paid subscriptions, like paid content, newsletters. Substack is really leading the way in this sense. And it used to be that you would go and you would do a rev split with, let's say like Facebook, for example. Okay, so if I were a creator and I was making content, I would publish my content for free, or I would, create videos, content on sites like YouTube or Facebook, and then Facebook would run ads, or someone would run ads, on Facebook, and if those ads were displayed in my content, I would get a cut of that, and that worked, and for a while, and that's been a very traditional model for a long time. What we're seeing is we're seeing this shift. And it's not new, but it is rapidly growing, where now the creator themselves, they want to own the audience, right? So rather than going to a free platform like a Facebook and saying, hey, you have the audience and we're going to build a following on there that you own or you control, we want to kind of like build a gated access, right? And so what Substack essentially did, and Substack is primarily written, let me see if I have a description of, let me see if I have notes here. Yes. Okay. So Substack attracts like writers, thought leaders, policy analysts, financial and like niche intelligent media, a lot of like financial coverage, tech coverage, written articles, some audio. You can embed audio in there, but a lot of writers. And essentially, you can write a little bit right on Substack. And show that for free, and then someone has to subscribe or pay to see the rest of the article. And what this does is, if somebody subscribes to your Substack, you're getting paid monthly from it, like a subscription, right? But now you really own the audience a lot more. I mean, technically you're still using that platform, but like you own it and you own their attention rather than having to give a cut to Facebook or to some other platform. You're getting all the revenue in and you're giving a tiny little cut away to, the payment processors, which we'll talk about more. This shift is something that we're going to see more and more and more of, particularly as AI, blows up. Why? Well, because trust. I was watching a video from Hermosi about his content plan for 2026, and he made an interesting comment, one that I agree with. And he said that in a AI world, as AI continues to take over the internet, that trust is going to become more and more valuable. People are going to want to know what is real. And so people are going to trend towards consuming content that they think is honest or true or that they can trust. If content is free to access, then the incentive is to go and to mass produce that content. AI is a great way to go and do that. So the trust inherently from creators and from brands is low. What we're seeing from a Substack and from creators there is you go, okay, well, this is not going to be AI generated. I'm going to write this. So I'm going to put a paywall up, right? And I'm going to focus on creating a brand. And that brand creates that trust. And so people are willing to pay for access to, this content because they trust the person that it is coming from. And so the trust really sits at the center of all paid content online. So Substack raises $100 million, and in order for them to kind of be the dominant player, they needed to focus on being like a real asset class, like paid subscriptions to subscriptions to paid content and paid media online. That's literally becoming a whole asset class of its own, which is fascinating. Okay. Now, another thing that I thought was interesting was where they were going to use the money. And I think that, we got to pay attention to this because before this round, Substack was already the cleanest, most creator-friendly tool for launching paid newsletters, building direct recurring revenue, etc. Writers and operators could publish, charge subscribers, and keep the vast majority of their money with almost zero tech hassle. They raised $100 million to focus on better discovery tools so that newsletters actually get found instead of relying solely on social media. Also, for enhanced creator support and growth features like analytics, sponsorship marketplaces, product stacking, and more. Infrastructure to handle much larger professional operators and media brands who treat their Substack like a real business, again, signaling that paid content for your expertise, for your knowledge, really even just your take, kind of like the content desk. These are real legitimate businesses, right? And then finally, to have competitive positioning against platforms like Beehive and Patreon and traditional media trying to own the subscription layer, because there's a lot of media out there. You go to friggin' like Bloomberg or what's the one? Not CNN. The one that I always get every time I want to click on an Apple News article. It's like, please, this isn't included. You have to subscribe. They're just trying to put subscriptions over the top of it. Substack is being uniquely different in this sense. Okay, why does this matter? Well, because Substack is not the only one doing this, and there is lots and lots and lots of capital flowing into this market. I wonder if we'll have to get the whiteboard set up for future shows, Braden, so that I can draw in front of the whiteboard. But I want to jump to the Patreon news, because the blend of these two things, I think what we're going to see is, and I think let me pull this up and see if I can do. Please hold. This is our second show, and we are trying to come on. Media source. You can do it. Come on, iPad. Nope. All right. Well, I'll hold it up. Okay. In the creator economy, in the content economy, which is where we live, Okay, we have business owners. Perhaps you're a business owner that's using content as leverage. And then you have content or creator adjacent service providers, right? People that maybe you're a producer, you're an editor, you're a writer, you're supporting these bigger creators and influencers. Okay, if we want to make money and get paid, be free. In fact, I've got that shirt on right now. Our brand, I have a company called Get Paid, Be Free, and here, let me show you the branding there. Okay, if our goal is to get paid, be free, we have to study where the money goes. Because I used to think that like making money was kind of a game of luck. Like who's got all that money? Who's going to pay those prices? Who's going to do that? It's like, well, just study where the money is, right? You know what I'm saying, Braden? Okay. So it's like, where's the money? Well, in the content economy, you have this paid subscription tier, if you will, Substack and Patreon and subscription services like it, that is getting massive capital flowing into it. Where capital flows, there is opportunity, because where there is capital, there is money. And if there is money to be made. And a big mistake that I made for a while, way too long, and that a lot of people in this, this content economy make, is they simply try to go and make money in an industry with no money in it, or in a place where there is no capital flowing in, or worse, there's capital flowing out of it. Well, how do we know if capital is flowing in? Well, number one, you come and watch the content desk, all right? That's literally why we exist, okay? But number two is you look at where they're like, well, you look at where money's going into. You look at like, where, like, is there competition? Where are things popping up? Where are things that would need capital in order to grow and exist? Where are they continuing to pop up, and where is their attention? So Patreon, which is a competitor to Substack, they have now announced, well, I don't really know announced, it's more of a headline. They might not have want it publicly known, that they're aggressively trying to poach creators from the Substack platform with high touch incentives. They are hiring dedicated acquisition managers and offering premium sweeteners. Think like private New York City dinners and like, billboards and like, hey, come over, right? Like come over to our platform and we'll give you exposure. We'll make you feel good. We'll pay for some advertising. We'll give you perks to these bigger, creators, bigger influencers, to pull them away from Substack. So, you think of it like a Nike versus an Under Armour, right? And when Under Armour was trying to make a name for itself, I think it was Steph Curry was their first like really big, Under Armour's first really big grab at this. And Steph Curry goes to Nike and he kind of feels underappreciated. He doesn't feel like they really want him. They kind of just don't really do a good job pitching him. And so Under Armour comes and, swoons him and they wine and dine him, and he signs with Under Armour. I think he was one of the big ones. Same thing is happening here. Patreon is basically saying, hey, look, this market of paid media, paid content from creators, from businesses, from people like you and I, this market has such opportunity right now that we're willing to not only provide a platform and get millions of dollars in funding and build infrastructure for it, but we're going to go poach off of our competitor to try to bring people over to our platform because we will recoup the money. That's a signal, right? Like that narrative of like, hey, we want to be the premium one. We want to bring all the top creators come to us and we're willing to poach for it. I mean, to me, that shows that there's a lot of money flowing into this space. So if I'm a content creator, if I'm a service provider right now, and I'm looking at AI, and I'm going, okay, well, wait a second, hold on. AI is disrupting the content creation game. AI is better at writing. AI is gonna, potentially disrupt everything we know, particularly with coding and stuff, everything that we know about the service provider industry. Where can I go? Where can I place my bets, if you will, my focus? Where can I, align myself? Where there's capital, where there's money to be made, and where bigger companies are betting that they're going to be around in a post AI world. If I'm that service provider, I'm going and saying, okay, how do I get involved in the paid content economy, paid content world? How do I get my current clients onto these platforms? How do I go and help the people with these platforms go and grow and ultimately scale? Why? Because again, this comes back to the narrative of, it comes back to trust. In an AI world, trust matters massively. If I don't trust it, I'm not going to buy it. And if I could go and help brands go and scale that have paid content where that trust is high, I'm going to have a job for a while, right? I'm going to have access to capital, be able to get paid on that for a while. Am I making sense, Braden? Yeah, you can unmute yourself and talk. It's cool. We like you.
You're making plenty of sense.
I'm
yeah.
Okay, good.
Lots of sense. Maybe too much sense.
Maybe too much sense. All right. Well, hopefully not too much sense. Maybe we can make dollars instead. That would be good. Okay. So Patreon, they're going and they're pulling top creators away from Substack. Now, Patreon has been the go-to platform for ongoing fan support. Think creator setup tiers, fans paid monthly or per creation for exclusive content. Patreon handles the payments, and it says some discovery, although I feel like Patreon, it really is not a discovery platform as much as Substack is, which interestingly enough, Substack, part of that $100 million that they raised, it was for discovery. Okay. And Substack was like the OG, I want to get paid for my content platform. Like you've got like School, right? And WAP. Like WAP is like a marketplace and a payment processor. School is like education, right? Like you're going to teach them something. But if you're like a writer, right? If you've got analysis on things, before Substack, there really wasn't a good way to like create content and then charge people for access to it. And so they blew up. They were the category king. Patreon's basically coming in and saying like, hey, there's competition now, and we have options. Like these creators now don't have to only choose Substack. They can choose us as well. And so I think this competition creates massive opportunity for us, and also, again, signals that there is massive capital flowing into this part of the economy, okay? Braden, I think it's worth covering like how these are different, like Substack versus Patreon, because I guess they are different, right? Patreon, huh?
Yeah, they are different.
Yeah.
Definitely worth covering.
Substack is like a publication. So their market is going to be writers, thought leaders, analysts, like niche intellectual, like media type of stuff. I think like finance bros, AI analysis. Although I do think, now that I'm thinking about it, honestly, X articles. Have you seen this trend? You're not on X yet. Or no, you are, or are you not?
I'm on it.
Okay, good.
It's not very often.
Yeah, okay. Because I'd have to fire you if you weren't. Because that's like,
yeah, I've got an X account,
thankfully. It was a close. Okay, so this is actually kind of a funny story. So, Andrea, she works for me. She's like my number two. Like she basically runs the business. I had her log into my X account one day. I was like, you should just log in and see my timeline. And the next day or like 2 days later, we got on a meeting. And I was like, hey, did you like log into my X and, kind of scroll the feed and like, see the stuff? And she goes, yeah. And I said, okay, what did you think? And she goes, you make so much sense. Your echo chamber is exactly you. And I had to laugh because she's right. It's like you log into my X account and it's like Elon Musk, Bitcoin, Cybertrucks, a little bit of Trump memes and political humor. And and AI. Like that's pretty much it. But there's a big trend on X right now with they're making a push for articles, like written articles. In fact, they did a $1 million Did you see this, Braden? They did that $1 million giveaway. Okay, you didn't see that. Okay, so they did this $1 million. So there was this. This is crazy. I would be kind of pissed if I was this guy. So this guy writes this article called. See if you can find this, Braden. No, pull it up. It's how to change your entire life in. I think it was a day. Like how to change your entire life in a day. Just like go on X and be like, how it got like 100 million views. Like so many people read it. It was all over. And so because of that, they the head of product at X announces like the next week that they're doing a competition, and that whoever writes the best article on X gets $1 million prize. Now, I don't know about you, but if I write an article that gets 100 million views, and then like 3 days later, they announce that there's $1 million prize for whoever writes the best article because of yours, I'd be low-key kind of pissed because I don't qualify for it because I wrote it before the thing was announced. But anyway, X, all that to be said, X is making a big pitch for, or a big push for written content on there. And now that I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, they're essentially a competitor to Substack. Did you find that article?
Yep, posted it in the Zoom chat.
Sweet. What's the hold on, let me pull it up here. Thank you, sir. Where is it? Here we go. How to fix your entire life in one day. 100. This is so crazy. Okay, if you want to talk about an opportunity, like 178 million views. This got how to fix your entire life in one day, and it's a pretty long article. Like this is very Substack-esque. That's interesting. Basically, if you're a writer, AI is gonna be good to you, honestly, because like all you have to do now is you take what you were gonna write for free anyway, you put it behind the paywall, and then the only problem becomes discoverability. There you go. So then you hire another service provider. Here's your opportunity. This is the opportunity for the day. Okay. If you're a writer and you write great articles, you can go on X, you post them on X, that's going to get you hopefully distribution, but you put it on Substack or X, and now you need people to subscribe, right? So then you go hire somebody else that's a listener here, that's great at getting distribution for articles, right? That knows distribution channels. Maybe it's content creators, maybe it's, I don't know. Find them, like hire the person to do it, and partner up, and then go, hey, look, we will create a brand together, or we will do a partnership together where one of you writes the article, right? You're a writer, you've got, a niche that you write on, put it behind the paywall, and the other one promotes it and gets the distribution for it. It might just be as simple as posting it on X. Anyway, I digress. I think there's huge opportunity there. So Substack is more that. Whereas Patreon is more like YouTubers, podcasters, people with an audience already, like community, right? They're creating almost like a club, right? Or what's the not a you have your clubs that you're in, but what's the like a golf course? What do you call those? The membership for what the heck is it called? You're super rich, and you go and you.
I thought it was a club.
Is it a club? Is that what that's called? I mean,
That's what comes to my mind.
I'm not an old
It's like
65-year-old
club.
dude that is in corporate that drives a Mercedes and goes in, or a GMC truck with golf clubs in the back. So I can't relate, but maybe it is a club. What is that? What it's called? Like a country club?
I'm looking it up right now. I think it is country club. Let me see.
Like premium member, you pay 50 grand or whatever for the enrollment fee. It's got to have a cooler name than that. I'm so happy I'm a millennial. Not gonna lie. Like I can't wait to be old. Don't get me wrong. I'm just so glad I grew up in the millennial generation. Aren't you?
Yes, it is country club membership.
My gosh,
That's what it is.
we need a better name than that. Another opportunity. Anyway, think of like you want to create a fan community. You got perks, you got discounts, you got deals, you got swag, it's that type of thing that you're paying for. That's more like who Patreon attracts. But the point is that they both provide the platform for creators, business owners, people that write, people that want to attract a very specific type of person, buyer, and then they take a small cut. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I did the research on this somewhere in my notes. They take about identical. Yeah. Okay. Fees are now nearly identical for the users. So the real choice is audience fit and what kind of relationship you want with your supporters. Patreon is stronger for community and one-off digital products. Substack wins on discoverability and newsletter flow. Okay. Patreon feels like a private club, deeper loyalty, ongoing relationships, flexible perks beyond just writing. Substack feels like a publication, public reach, easy email delivery, and tools that help spread content. I think that's actually critical. I think I can't wait to see what X does. Like, honestly, first off, why would you bet against Elon? Like, are you just stupid at this point? Like, the people that go and think that Elon Musk is going to lose, it's like, you're a special kind of retarded, all right? Like, it's just, he just wins. Anyway, I'm a big fan of X. They're doing the money stuff. They're making a big push for articles. And I do think that creators are going to continue to be rewarded on X. And so it'll be interesting to see where this goes. Braden, we should get some Substack, people that are like big in Substack and also big in Patreon on the show. Like, get them on and like get their take on this. So let's get that scheduled. Because if I were a skilled professional right now, a service provider that's in the creator economy, you're looking for what's next. You're looking for where you're going to blow up. You've got ideas and stuff in your head, and you're looking to create massive opportunity. Because this is where deals go down right here, right? I would actually start on X. I don't think I'd start a Substack. But then again, I'm not big on Substack, so it would be interesting to get the point of view of that. The reason, though, that I would do X is for a couple things. Number one is because of the distribution. And I think that's possibly the biggest thing. And I think that's probably why they are making such a push, like Substack with their $100 million that they raised. Better discovery tools so that great newsletters actually get found instead of relying on social media. Because if you think of X as like, Elon describes X as the town square of ideas, right? The public town square. I refer to it as the world's group chat. An account with 2,000 followers on it can have an article go viral or have a piece of content go viral and get insane amounts of exposure and distribution. And the people on there are incredibly high quality. Like no other platform on earth are you able to go and literally tweet at the biggest leaders in the world, the most influential people in the world, and have a pretty good chance that they're going to respond back. So the highest IQ, the most influential, the smartest, most affluent people use X. Like there are many, many people that are CEOs that are, big time industry leaders that exclusively the only platform that they use is X. And so you have an insanely valuable demographic. You have immense distribution, like potential, immense distribution potential. It was I can't think of his name right now. I can see his profile picture. The head of product at X has publicly said that if you pick a niche, you pick a topic that you're like uniquely talented on, and you write one post a day, every single day for 6 months with a unique take that is like valuable to that market, on a topic that's valuable to that market, and you do that every single day for 6 months, that will train the algorithm to put you in front of all of the top people in that market. This is the head of product, like the guy that controls that, he's saying that. And it's like sometimes I think we just make life and business harder than it needs to be, there is massive amounts of opportunity out there in this world. There's massive amounts of opportunity. And oftentimes it feels like, well, where is it? But in reality, it's probably sitting right in front of us. We just make it too complicated because we think it can't be that simple. And it takes a lot more concentrated effort over a sustained period of time to see the payoff. You're not going to write 1 or 2 posts or 6 posts and have your life changed. But if you write 1 post a day for 6 months about one concentrated topic, you're going to be an industry thought leader. You could charge whatever you want for your advice, and you're going to have opportunities that would have never been available to you before and that most could only dream of. You simply just have to stick with it for long enough. And so stop making business harder than it needs to be. I'm talking to myself here, by the way, okay? But I would do it on X for number 1, affluent avatar. Number 2 is massive distribution. And also number 3, I just love Elon. I mean, I think it's funny. And I'm not worried about getting canceled or anything on X. Unless, of course, you insult Elon and then he'll, delete your account. But, we won't talk about that. Wink. Okay. That's Substack versus Patreon. So Patreon goes and they're trying to get all these people over. Substack raises $100 million because there's a massive opportunity in this market. Patreon knows this as well. You have legitimate competition in all of this. And this is where everybody's focused. Well, this is where a lot of the capital is focusing. Now, in business, there is easy money opportunities. And then there's life-changing money billion-dollar ideas, $100 million, opportunities. And oftentimes those $100 million, billion-dollar, big market disrupting opportunities, opportunities that create massive influence, are not very sexy. They're not super visible. They are infrastructural related. I actually had to learn this, by the way, through Bitcoin. Because when I first discovered Bitcoin, I was like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin is going to make me rich. And then I went from that phase to, oh my gosh, Bitcoin is going to, save the world. And, it's the next form of money and, all this stuff. And I remember during that time early on, watching an interview from Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. Now, Kevin O'Leary's got quite the brand. And little old Josh is like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin's going to the moon. If you're in Bitcoin, you've gone through this phase. You start off, you're like, we're all going to get rich. Bitcoin is it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, Bitcoin is actually sound money. And the US dollar and fiat money is evil. And we're on the brink of collapse. And at any moment, the entire system is going to fall apart. And you prepare for doomsday. And then you realize that actually that's not going to happen. We're probably not on the brink of economic and dollar collapse. And so then you go and you're like, well, if I'm going to stick around in this for the long haul, then maybe I should study the industry. I should figure out where this is going and figure out what the future of this looks like. And I was watching this interview from Kevin O'Leary. And in the interview, he's like, the problem right now with Bitcoin and the crypto industry is that there's no infrastructure yet, all right? And once infrastructure gets built, you have regulations and you have clarity around the regulations, then you'll have all this capital flow in. And when capital flows in, it will only be able to flow in as fast as the infrastructure is built. And I remember thinking bro, you don't know what you're talking about. I am in my late 20s, a cocky, arrogant internet marketing bro. I clearly know more than you, Mr. Wonderful, who's done billions of dollars. Duh. No, I did not. He was right. When there is opportunity, typically big wealth, huge opportunity, not change your life money, change your great grandkids type of money opportunity. Typically speaking, it is in infrastructure. It's in assets. It's in real, unsexy, not super fun to market type of stuff. The thing that comes to mind here is Stripe. Okay, Stripe this is crazy. I saw this the other day. I did not realize that Stripe was this big. They have it on their website. No, not that one. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Where is like Stripe thing? They do like 1% of all financial transactions in the world are done on Stripe. It's like something crazy like that, okay? And so Stripe basically came in and filled this need of being able to process payments online in a an easy way. Because before Stripe, it was like you had PayPal, but they suck. It was very difficult to collect payments. Well, here's what's interesting. The final headline of the day, if you will, is that Apple has reinstated a subscription billing mandate impacting Patreon's remaining legacy billing creators. Patreon will auto-transition creators who haven't switched by November 1st of this year to be back on the Apple subscription billing mandate, meaning that Apple gets 30% of all of the revenue from these creators. Apple's a big greedy bully. I say that as I type on my $1,200 orange iPhone. The real battle right now that I think is far less talked about and where there is major opportunity, particularly with the rise of AI and the fact that you don't really need to be a coder anymore, is that it's not Patreon versus Substack. It's who owns and controls the billing rails. Because in an economy, you see this with like AI agents, and it's like how they're going to transact financially. In an economy where you have content and creators and people are buying and selling things, and like content become like subscription and access to content has become such a big market. Fees and who controls billing like makes a huge significant difference. Patreon relies heavily on in-app, like you download it on from the app, the Apple Store. They rely heavily on subscriptions and payments that are done through Apple. Well, if Apple comes in and basically says, "Hey, look, we're going to take 30% of that cut," that's not like a few percentage. Like that's 30% of your business gone. Not only that, they then can control what you are and aren't allowed to sell. And you can say, well, they're not going to ban me or they're not going to restrict me because of my views. Well, maybe not yet, but it means they can. And so you start looking around and you have Substack that the reason they're less impacted by this right now is because they've kind of gone and already made a push to having more like native payments, email payments, web payments, away from in-app and like on the Apple Store. But like creator monetization is evolving, and it's evolving from pure subscriptions to more flexible payment options. And so when Apple can come in and just take 30% or can control to say you have to have a subscription or you can't have this type of payment or you must have this type of payment, then the creators themselves start to lose control. The CEO of Patreon said that, let me pull the stat here. Yeah. The CEO of Patreon highlighted that newer payment options beyond just monthly subscriptions are growing 3 times faster than traditional subscription models, signaling a shift in how creators and fans structure ongoing support. Creator monetization is evolving from a pure subscription model towards a more flexible deal structure that better matches real fan behavior and creator output. Platforms that adapt keep the money flowing longer. Basically, in a nutshell, fans are saying, I don't want another monthly subscription, right? I want to be able to pay for a one-time article. I want to be able to, purchase this tier. They want options, not just a one-and-done thing. Well, if you don't own and control the payment rails, then you don't have control or nearly as much control over how you get to go and bill. If you're a content creator, if you are a writer, if you are a business owner that has a paid subscription like this, you don't have, like, you're not going to go and build your own payment processing system, right? You're going to pick the platform, Patreon, Substack, or what have you, that gives you the best options for what you are trying to do and what your avatar is after. But if Apple owns the billing rails that even they're on, then they don't even have control. And so there's this big opportunity where I think that like billing optimization is going to become a service category. Like, I'm in the online space. We sell a lot of consulting services, working with businesses, a lot of service providers. A lot of my friends are in the info product space, coaching, courses. Stripe is shutting these people down left and right. They're holding their funds. I mean, the other day, one of my friends, out of nowhere, they shut his account down, held like, it was like $100 grand, like a lot of money for like no reason. No red flags had come up on his account. Just, oh, he's high risk now. And so you have Stripe that wants more control as they grow. You have Apple that's vying for more control. And as AI continues to evolve and AI continues to disrupt the market as we know it, you start to go and say, all right, well, we need to start going and saying, okay, what is it that is going to continue to be needed in a post-AI world? Jeff Bezos had this saying with Amazon that was, most people go and they ask, what's going to be different in 10 years from now? And he said, at Amazon, we do the opposite. At Amazon, we say, what is going to be the same in 10 years from now? And he said, people will always want low prices. They will always want a great selection, and they will always want free, fast shipping. That's going to be the same in 10 years from now. In a post-AI world, or in an AI world where things are being disrupted, it's like, okay, well, what is going to continuously stay the same? And you have to make bets on that. No one really knows. But being able to collect payments, payment infrastructure, right? That's probably still going to be here. Right? We're probably still going to have some form of monetary system where people are going to need to be able to transact. And so even in a post-AI world, or even in an AI world, like, he who controls that or has influence in that is going to have power. There's major opportunity there. What else? Distribution, right? Being able to get in front of your ideal client, getting in front of customers. Distribution channels, are they going to look different? Absolutely. But the infrastructure that those distribution channels run on, and those distribution channels are going to be immensely valuable. Brand. Arguably the most important thing in an AI world. The more AI there is, the more trust is low. And so brands, where there's trust, where there's reputation, is everything. Substack just had a data breach that they found in February of this year. Like, a lot of people's names and email addresses and contact information was leaked. That's a problem. It breaks trust. It degrades trust. And so if you look around and you go, okay, well, I'm a creator right now, or I'm a service provider. I'm in this space, or I'm a business owner and I'm in this space. I'm leveraging content. What do I do? Chances are your opportunity, or one of the opportunities right now, for you to grow a brand and for you to create massive amounts of trust that also has massive amounts of capital inflow right now, is the creator economy. Is the paid content ecosystem, the Substacks, the Patreons of the world. There are other ways to go about paid content that we didn't have time to get into today. Hermosi does in-person paid workshops for, you pay $5,000 to go in person for 2 days and learn how to scale. The fact that they're still doing that in 2026, I think, is a big deal, and signals that they still think that that's a thing. But like, that's probably where one of your biggest opportunities is going to be right now. However, if you are the person that maybe you've exited, maybe you've got a couple $1 million in the bank, maybe you are looking for that life-changing idea, maybe you're looking to disrupt an industry, and you're saying, okay, like, AI, where do I focus? Like, what can I create that doesn't put you, like, we're not competing with OpenAI or Grok. Like, you can't compete with OpenAI and Grok. I mean, the headlines of Anthropic just raised another, we didn't put that in this one. I think they raised 360 billion, 30 billion. Anthropic closes $30 billion Series G at a $380 billion valuation announced 5 days ago, okay? Anthropic, the company behind Claude AI model, raised another $30 billion, pushing its valuation to $380 billion to fuel more research, infrastructure, and enterprise tools, okay? They run Claude. You're not going to compete with a $380 billion company that's getting $30 billion worth of funding, okay? So where can you compete? Well, right now, there's a couple of monopolies in the payment processing space that is ripe for disruption. And payment optimization, keeping more of your money, giving creators and giving business owners and giving service providers and giving consumers the option and more control over how they bill, how they collect money, more control of their money, particularly in Web3, with Web3 coming out and Bitcoin and crypto and all the, the payments with blockchain. Like there is a massive opportunity there where if you can pick a niche and you can start by simply just going, hey, our goal is to optimize the way that you collect payments so that Apple doesn't get 30% of your revenue, or Stripe doesn't control what you can and can't sell. I think there's massive opportunity for that. So with that wraps up today's show. Braden, good show today for show number 2 and really our first official broadcast.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we had fun. I think we had fun. Obviously, we'll continue to get better at this. We'd love to know more if there's any specific topics or content or ideas or things that you, the listener, if you want to hear about. Let us know down in the comment section below, whether it's on X, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever we're streaming this at. We will take that in consideration. We want to optimize this to be useful and beneficial. Really, one of the things that we're going to try to do is wrap up every single show with what we call a 24-hour move. And it's like, okay, over the next 24 hours, what's one thing that you can do that is tactical and actionable, that would create opportunity for you or move you in the direction to being able to get paid, close a deal, find opportunity, what have you. And I think today's 24-hour move is to go on Grok, go on ChatGPT, and first and foremost, if you do not have a paid AI subscription, go get one. It is a massively different experience, particularly over time, if you have a paid subscription versus not. Better research, better memory, all the things. But then I would go and I would do some research, ask it, hey, tell it who your demographic is, who you're targeting as your client, and say, hey, what type of content, paid content subscriptions are my demographic reading and paying for? What platform are they on? What topics? And identify where your demographic right now, your ideal clientele, where they're already putting their attention, not in a free way, but actually in a paid way. Because if you can identify where your ideal client or the people that you want to get in front of, if you're in the real estate space, maybe you want to get in front of home buyers, or maybe you want to get in front of flippers, or maybe you want to get in front of real estate investors, or maybe you want to get in front of, sellers, okay? If you're in the financial services space and you're selling financial services to business owners or to affluent people, okay, like knowing where they are putting their attention or knowing where these real estate people are putting their attention, what they're paying for, what they're literally pulling out their credit card and saying, hey, I'm willing to pay for access to this, that is incredibly valuable data. And you can have Grok, or ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. I mean, you could just ask these AI models where those are and get specific examples and go identify where those things are. And then ask yourself, okay, what approach do I want to take to capitalizing on this attention? Do I want to become a creator or someone that owns a distribution channel in this way? Do I want to create my own paid newsletter or paid subscription service? Or do I want to capitalize on attention that is already there and partner with someone? Do I want to pay for ads there? Because like your option is you can run Facebook ads, right? And I'm going to run a Facebook ad or a YouTube ad or what have you. Or you can go put that money and put that budget into a partnership with a creator, with someone that has already been, has done the work to not only generate the attention of your ideal client, but has gotten there enough attention and gotten them enough to have them pay them for that attention. And partner with them or pay them to promote your stuff, work out a deal with that, and the attention that you're going to get, and more importantly, the trust that you're going to borrow from that is going to be way more valuable and beneficial than, say, a Facebook ad or a YouTube ad would be. And so the 24-hour move here is to go find where your ideal avatar, the people that you want to get in front of, are already putting their attention. And yeah, they'll change your business. All right, with that, that's all we got for today. Eventually, we're going to have Q&As. We're going to have call-ins. We've got big plans for the show. But as we kind of bring this to a close, just as a reminder of the vision, our goal is to create a news desk and to create a deal desk and a place where entrepreneurs and business owners and service providers and creator adjacent professionals, people that we call the professional outliers of the world, you and me, who we don't fit in our industry, we're the outliers of that industry. We're not trying to be, Mr. Beast level famous. We're not trying to, go and be in Hollywood. We want to get paid, be free, do work we find meaningful, right? We want to create a place for those people to come and to find relevant daily news and business insights, where we can see trends, find opportunities, and find deals, so that we have deals coming across our desk where we can, partner with people, and we could say, okay, you have an opportunity over here. You're looking for opportunity. You two would be a good fit. You guys come together and should do something. And really where we can create a place for you to come to find those opportunities and deals every single day. And our sole goal for each show is that you walk away every day going, I'm going to make more money because I listened to today's episode. And so you want to come back the next day to see where the opportunity is. And that blend of personality and humor and engagement with also like real information, real relevant insights and actionable steps that you can take away to actually go get paid and grow your business. If we can do that, that would be a win, and we'd love any feedback on how we can do that better. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. With that, we will see you tomorrow. See ya. Bye.